Are you scared of console players? If your answer is no, then you probably haven't played Modern Warfare 2 on the Xbox 360. Trust me when I say that some of these dudes are downright vile creatures. But console toxicity aside, more and more Overwatch players are making the switch from their Switch over to Battle.net, trading the cinematic pixel fest of Nintendo's Overwatch offering for the crisp, clean 60 FPS goodness of the PC version. However, a bunch of these players are not here just to enjoy better graphics and frame rates. They are here to destroy us. You heard me right, some of these Xbox and PlayStation warlords come to throw down the gauntlet and challenge us not only for our skill rating, but also our pride. Okay, I mean that's cute. Aim assist aside, what does a console player actually hope to achieve when facing the wrath of PC players who have mastered the precision art of whiffing shots on mouse and keyboard? Surely this is gonna be a one-sided affair, right? Remember when Karku made that video about hitboxes in Overwatch? Yeah, something tells me that our edge and precision is not gonna make as much of a difference as I would like it to. Not to mention that most characters in this game wouldn't even benefit from an aimbot if you shoved it down their throats. So what really differentiates us from console players, besides them spending twice as much money for the same game? Well, that is what we are going to find out today, my friends. But before we do, let's talk about something else you could spend your money on. Something like our sponsor for today, Surfshark VPN. Now imagine you lived in a world where you tried to play Reinhardt in Overwatch, but Blizzard said, oh sorry guys, that hero is only available to you if you live in Germany. Gotta live in Sweden to play Torbjorn, prove you're a Japanese resident to throw on Genji, and be an absolute degenerate to access Hammond. You heard me right, you stupid space hamster. Now imagine that you don't need to imagine that, because that is actually the world we live in when it comes to online media. The amount of shows that I do not get to watch because I don't live in the US is absolutely ridiculous, even though I pay the same subscription fee as anyone else. And that's where Surfshark VPN comes to the rescue. By changing your IP and hiding your identity, you can make the internet believe that you are from somewhere else, break down arbitrary barriers, and access the content you paid for with a click of a button. And better yet, what about saving some money while you're at it? You can save 83% on your Surfshark subscription and get 3 extra months for free simply by clicking the link in the description below and using my promo code Terios. So what are you waiting for? Access a more open internet today and binge the content that you desire. Thanks a lot to Surfshark VPN for sponsoring this video, and now onto our standard programming. For years, PC players have belittled their console cousins. So you got top 500 on console? That's more like diamond on PC, you know? And while this Reinhardt has not specified what rank they were on their home platform, they now arrived here in Platinum to make us eat our words. If you believe that submitting a replay automatically makes you the protagonist, and think again, as part of the personal computing master race, get it because I'm Nomnic? Of course I have to side with my PC brethren here. So let this match begin and may the better platform take home the victory. Right from the start, Travis and the rest of the blue team were showing our console friend what they were made of. As if you could get away with running your face into a wall, our heroes made short work of their opposition to kick off this round. But 6 players make a team in this game, and the red team's Mercy was determined to bring back... Okay, listen guys, I'm just gonna call this dude Reinhardt because I'm not about to give the comment section more reasons to be mad at me. Point being, Reinhardt was back on his feet and immediately made his presence known with a fire strike, cleaving into a Moira to take them out. That elimination meant go time, and in the chaos, Travis got squished into his Orisa through a charge, opening this fight up wide open for the red team. But things got even worse. This Reinhardt knew absolutely no fear, and as if he hadn't contributed enough to this fight already, he was determined to keep smashing away until his team sang songs about his great carry. The first point was lost through a combination of team play, luck, and determination. Certainly the red Reinhardt made his presence known, but there were 2 more points to go before this round was over, and I'm certain that our heroes could bring honor to the PCMR. Thankfully, the rest of the red Reinhardt's team was not necessarily sharing his level of competence. Rolex put themselves out there as an easy target for the blue team to take out, and thus keep their hopes for a comeback solidly alive. Travis and friends begin their counterattack from multiple angles, putting their pressure on the attackers while showing them that they are no pushovers. At that point in time, there was only one way to go, and that way was forward. Well, at least until they arrived at the payload. Instead of keeping up that aggression and making sure that the red team can now build up any momentum, they just kinda sat there, letting their enemies dance around them without a care in the world. All these ults that our heroes were stocking up meant absolutely nothing in the face of an EMP. Turns out ultimates are only dangerous and you can actually use them, and as if the hack wasn't enough to stop them, the shatter and follow-up damage very likely would. Our supports were getting chased back into their spawn one way or another. If there was one undeniable truth on display here, it's the fact that the red team got their Reinhardts back, and after painting the kill feed red, there was nothing left to do for them but to celebrate their a victory. Well, okay, the payload still had to move forward, which they left to their Sombra. That almost seems like a punishment after how their ultimate was the key to winning that fight, but alas, somebody had to do it. Though it is a bit weird that they look like they are moonwalking on the cart in the replay. Huh. Odd. During a recent episode in which our heroes were fighting a smurfing cheater, I was trying to give you guys some tips on how to replicate their success, and some of you belittled me for stating the obvious. But now look at the blue team throwing every single cooldown at the red Reinhardt in an attempt to stop their onslaught. What is happening here? The red team having a very easy time funneling all of their resources into a single player because he is the only target. Who says this channel isn't educational? Listen, this man was on an absolute tear. He survived unreal amounts of damage and crowd control just to come back even stronger to roll over anything and anyone in his path. Travis was trying to come back and help his friends, but between him hitting the charge button and him arriving at his destination, all of them had already perished, leaving him to get staggered. And that's also how this round came to a close. Desperate attempts at shaving time off the clock were met with brutal force, and our heroes came away from this defense with very little to show for themselves. The red team secured almost 3 minutes for themselves, but if Travis and friends can't find a way past this Reinhardt, then none of that is gonna matter in the face of an impending full hold. I said it before and I'll say it again. Impressive as our console Reinhardt's performance was, Overwatch is a team game. The fact that he somehow rallied his comrades to support him and only him specifically was more impressive than any shatter he managed to hit. Not to harp too much on past lessons learned, but this is exactly why you don't just hard focus the carry with every member on your team. You want to focus on the supporting structure around them. Find the weakest link to take their attention away from the one who demands the pocket. And I mean, heck, if you insist on focusing the red Reinhardt, at least play Zenyatta! Eating a fistful of discord every time he tries to swing his hammer would do the trick, though it didn't seem like our heroes were intending to take the easy way out. Well, Junkrat ain't no Zenyatta, but it seems like the blue team was holding firmly onto their plan of pressuring the enemy Reinhardt. Successful as an abundance of damage was in stopping him from swinging, eliminations were still going the way of the red team, fire strikes or no. But then it finally happened. The red Reinhardt overestimated his durability and found himself decimated in the face of Mr. Chicken's micro rockets. We finally got some movement. The defenders immediately fired back, of course, but the kill feed no longer painted a picture of certain defeat. Bit by bit, our heroes whittled away at the red team's defenses, a multi-angled attack to finally get their grubby pass on the capture point to turn the tides. In this moment of desperation, Reinhardt had to choose between fighting for the objective or re-establishing the main tank differential. A full hold definitely sounds nice, but he knew that playing the long game could pay off when things get dire. He made his choice and decided to fight Travis, attempting to break his spirit once and for all to make sure that even if they take the point, there's no future for the blue team. Our heroes, however, disagreed. They traded a main tank for a main tank, and while they were busy brawling it out, their attack began to bear fruit and progress was being made. It was Travis who survived, and even though the defenders once again invested all of their resources into bringing their Reinhardt back, there were few things he could achieve besides wildly flailing his hammer to no avail. With their carry out of the way, there was nothing stopping our heroes from cleaning up the rest to finally show that they are to be taken seriously. The ground of the low as well as the high variety was secured by the blue team, limiting the maneuverability for the defenders to safely get through the choke points. But if you thought Reinhardt was done carrying, then boy howdy are you gonna feel stupid. When the ground as well as the sky are occupied, then the obvious next choice is gonna be the backline. The red Reinhardt was about to show us that he could carry even without line of sight to any of his teammates, though little did he know that the blue team was prepared for that. A trap caught him by surprise and stopped the charge before it connected. But where inferior Reinhardt players would succumb to their inevitable doom, this specimen was not done fighting yet. In one fell swoop, Reinhardt abused the fact that the blue team rallied to punish him, turning the tides in an instant with barely any openings to retaliate. The blue team was chased back into their spawn in unceremonious fashion. Mr. Chicken was the only one who refused to go down without a fight, dropping their ultimate in desperation, but amazingly finding a pick on the enemy Lucio, who was ridiculed accordingly for such a blunder. If you're a hitscan player on the red team, then you absolutely love your life right now. With a tank who so readily claims and protects the space ahead of him, playing Widowmaker is like shooting fish in a barrel. I mean, you can either fall to the Widowmaker holding the open sightlines, or you can fall to the Reinhardt chasing you inside the building. The result ultimately stays the same. And it was that result with which our heroes were confronted time and time again. Morale was at an all-time low when the red team's defense turned into a spawn camp. This main tank was a wall that they were never gonna be able to conquer. But wait, that's the key. Why was the blue team trying to fight him on even ground anyway? Why let him dictate the pace, and why let him choose the battlefield when there's an objective to take? Travis realized that continuing to respond to the defender's plays is only going to make them dance in the exact way that they wanted, so he saved his own life in order to take the fight where the red team wanted to keep it away from, the objective. Like clockwork, the entirety of the defenders turned around on a dime to fight Travis on the objective, allowing the rest of our heroes to close the distance and take the fight where there was victory to be had. An overtime brawl on the choke point was perfect. Our team could slam down on their keyboards to invest any cooldown and ultimate they had, knowing it was bound to find value. And this was the spark that lit the gunpowder keg they've been sitting on this entire time. Reinhardt was strong, no doubt, but just as undeniable was that his team relied on that strong performance to do their jobs as well. When their carry found himself getting flattened off cooldown, subsequently the rest of their team fell apart as well. I can only imagine how satisfying it must have been for Travis and Mr. Chicken to finally get back on Ryan. These streets is cold, my friends, so cold that the best thing to happen is a snowball. Now, I am under no illusion that 1 minute would not be enough for our heroes to get much of anything done on their final offense. Getting this ball rolling took a whole lot of ultimates, and in this game, time equates to ults, so without time, their chances were slim to none. They fought valiantly, but the mid-fight of the red team was simply superior, and as such, their final attack ended without them even touching the capture point. At this stage, the best outcome they could hope for is a draw. Seeing as how our protagonists really did not want to run Zenyatta, the best tip I can give them is to stop running a death ball into a 5-man pocketed Reinhardt. This man was getting mad value out of his fire strikes because the blue team kept sitting in a cluster time and time again. So if they can clean up their positioning, start picking off the enemy supports, and really come together as a team, and they have already lost. Well, try as they might, our heroes could not overcome the challenge that is a console smurf coming to PC. But alas, they fought till the end, and as such, this day shall henceforth be remembered.
Bro, did you even read the submission?
What? Of course I read the submission. What are you on about?
Well, read it again, because you just narrated a console game.
Hold on a second, what? Firstly, I'm not a smurf, just got a new console and trying to make a fresh start. So wait, this guy did not come from console to PC, he just went from console to another console?
He could have even come from PC to console for all I know, it's written kind of ambiguously.
So that means PC1.
I mean, if you want to spin it that way.
PC1! PC!
PC! PC! PC! PC! PC!
Hey, thank you guys so much for watching this long overdue episode. If you've been missing my content in your sub boxes and you love yourself a twist ending, may I suggest my Everybody Hates Doomfist video? As a Zenyatta main, I'm sure you know what to expect, but trust me when I say that there's more to it than meets the eye. You can find the card on screen right now. But until then, thank you everybody so much for watching. Don't forget to drop me a like on your way out if you enjoyed this video, subscribe if you want to see more, and definitely ring that bell icon to not miss out on my next upload. I hope you guys have a fantastic day, and until next time, peace!